The city of Leicester is one of the oldest in England, dating back as far as 2,000 years. It has a vast wealth of history and community. Within the city itself, De Montfort University has launched an initiative called the Square Mile Project, led by Vice-Chancellor Professor Dominic Shellard. This project is aiming to demonstrate that the skills, knowledge and expertise that the university can offer will help the development of the Square Mile community and assist with the well-being of its residents. One project taking place under the Square Mile initiative is the Old Through the New, which aims to engage with the local community. The project involves taking past photographs of Leicester's landmarks and attempting to recapture that same place in the present day. Leicester entered the 20th century greatly enlarged. Boundary changes in 1892 brought into the borough an extra 33,000 people. In every direction there were a new street of terraced housing, mostly led by private landlords and council estates.
Yeah, I suppose I first came to Leicester in the 1960s. And a lot has changed, but I've come to like Leicester very much. I like the diversity of the community and the richness that brings. If I had a complaint at all about Leicester, and it's not that I'm against change, because I'm not, but it is that it doesn't really respect its historical buildings in the way that it ought to, and particularly the industrial ones.
In 1919, the first official visit from a reigning monarch in 300 years took place. When this visit occurred, Leicester was granted a royal charter and was called a city for the first time. These photographs were provided by the Leicester Mercury, dating from the 19th and the 20th century.
One that interested me was actually the first picture, the aerial photograph of the area, because it demonstrates how the railway and the river have affected the landscape, and that buildings that have been built later follow the old lines that were marked out by the railway, even though the railway lines themselves are gone.
This photograph shows the scene at the corner of Foss Road North and Noble Street. Here you can see this scene today. Looking at this photograph from 1910, you can see that a lot of its original features are still intact.
I certainly recognised immediately the Leicester and Swanton railway line, which is one of the reasons why I'm so interested in the Square Mile area, because the railway came in there to its terminus. It's one of the earliest railways in this country, and therefore in the world. Not the earliest, but one of the earliest.
The Square Mile project was established by De Montfort University in September 2011 to engage students, staff and the residents to work in collaboration to identify and respond to the needs and challenges faced within that local area of Leicester. The aim of the project is to show how DMU can utilise life-changing research and teaching to make a measurable difference to people's lives. They intend to achieve this by making a positive contribution to health, social, cultural and economic development, as well as the physical and environmental landscape of the community area. Andrew, a fellow researcher and supervisor of DMU's Institute of Creative Technologies, has played a major influence in supporting the project Old Through the New.
My role is to oversee the project, so I'm a manager. I supervise my PhD student, whose name is Jerry Fishenden, and my role is to make sure that it fulfills the project's aims and objectives, and that we deliver things on time, and that we encourage involvement and participation in the project.
A total of 21 projects were launched during the Volunteering Day in September. Square Mile aims to make a difference for the people living in the Foss, Tudor Road, Woodgate and Newfound Pool areas in Leicester by drawing on the skills of the university staff and students and the enthusiasm of the residents.
How can the community get involved?
Well, very easily. They can go to the website. The Square Mile website has a link to the Old Through New project, and there they will see the tool and how it operates. And they can contribute photographs either by emailing or indeed by handing over a hard copy. If they've got paper photographs, then they can hand those over if they want to contribute. On the website you'll see a whole load of old photographs of the Square Mile area, and the idea would be that people would go and take a snap from exactly the same position that the old photograph was taken, and it's pretty obvious in each case where that would be. So there's all sorts of ways they can participate.
The force behind the Old Through the New project is Jerry Fishenden, a PhD student working in conjunction with the university. Let's find out more about the project from the man himself.
I think to give community a greater sense of their own
past, of what went on in those streets, how they once looked, the type of things that went on in the streets in the past. When there used to be corner shops and have probably now disappeared and be turned into flats.
This is a project that's being developed within the Institute of Creative Technology. The idea is to combine, in this case, computer science technology with a sense of history and a sense of place.
The original photos came from the Leicester Mercury, so we've got some volunteer photographers who are going around trying to capture the same locations as they are today. Some of them are very hard to work out where they were taken because the streets have just changed so much in the meantime.
The great thing about it is that it's all done on the web, so people can easily go and look at this stuff, and they can also upload things and make their own versions of it. So this is technology, totally new technology that we've created here in the university that's being completely made available to the community. What we're trying to do is to encourage people to bring their own photographs and using a novel technology that we've developed, we're able to layer the images of the present onto images of the past.
Pictures remind people about things, don't they? They provide talking points for people who might not otherwise talk together. They bring back memories that people thought were forgotten.
That's all part of the project really, is trying to evoke people's memories, to capture them and then enable the multimedia tools to let other people rediscover those memories.
The project has chosen Padma, a university student, as their community photographer.
I was going through the history of Leicester and looking up at these different websites and links that came across, and I saw DMU Square Mile. Square Mile is a very interesting project. In a way, it is to rediscover the place you've lived in, and it's about finding things that you've never known before, and you're bringing out to the public, which also informs them about where they're staying and what it was and what it is now. Jerry told me to look at his website and look at the photos that he's got of Leicester when it was 50, 60 years ago, and basically find out these places. But now the place has changed so much that I need a point of reference for everything. So I carry the old photographs with me and try to find at least one similar thing between that then and now, and hopefully I'll find the place and I'll get the right shot. Square Mile is basically about rediscovering Leicester from what it was ages ago to what it is now, and how the urban landscape has come up, how the place has changed geographically, and how it has affected people in general with it, and it's going back in time and coming to the present, which is something I've always been interested in. And while doing research, I've learned so many things about Leicester from what it was, and it's a new place for me, so it's rediscovering and reading a new story altogether.
I've worked in youth, community, adult education, community development all my life, mostly local authority, but I've also been interested in history all my life. And of course, in a way, the Square Mile project brings those two things together quite nicely.
Hopefully the end project is something that creates a living sense of that community over time. That's really something I'm interested in, is how time changes a community.
And we see this as a very long-term project, so it's certainly not something that will stop at the end of the Square Mile project. It will go on for years to come.
The Old Through the New project will clearly benefit the Square Mile community. Keep an eye on the website to see any developments.